Stage. I know many of you are here to see her. She's from Dayton, Ohio. Thank you for all coming out to support her, and she's going to be great. I've talked to her before the show. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Laura Feld.
Okay, hello, thank you everybody for coming. And I think most of you, well, all of you now know that this is my first time ever doing stand-up, and it's a little intimidating. And as I was getting ready for it and preparing, I thought it's a lot like going on a first date. But it's actually more extreme than that. It's actually like going on a first date with like 100 people all at once. So that's kind of what I've been dealing with. So anyways, but I wanted to share a little story, and I wonder, have any of you ever been in a situation where you end up at a place where you normally maybe wouldn't go? And this happened to me recently. It was on a Friday night, and I was heading home from a birthday party, and one of my girlfriends called me and asked me to join her and some other folks at a little place called Jazz Central. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. But I thought, well, Jazz Central, that sounds nice. And I thought, based on the name, that we would be listening to some jazz. And I could not have been more wrong. So I get there, and I park my car, and I go inside, and the band was actually taking a break when we got there. So it was just some light background, bar music, what have you. And so anyway, so we get a drink and we're talking, and about 10 minutes go by, and we're in the front part because the bar had like 2 different parts to it. And so we're in there, and then we start to hear the band is tuning up. So we start to head back into the other room, and it was just a big open room. There were like 5 seats, maybe sort of haphazardly placed, and then everyone else was just like standing there. And they were just standing there, just looking at the band, just watching. And when the band started to play, I realized that it was the same kind of music that I hate. It was that screamo music where you can't really even understand the words, except every once in a while it's like blood, destruction. But other than that, you can't hear anything. So, but they're up there and they're singing, and I'm trying to keep an open mind, so I'm looking around, and the people, it's just very interesting. Nobody's dancing. In fact, I don't know how you would dance to this music unless you were going to just hurl yourself against the wall with fellow patrons, because it was horrible. And there was this young couple right in front of me, and they were, I don't want to be judgmental, but they didn't seem like the kind of couple that would be at a place like that. They were real young and cute and, perky, like early 20s, and it was just a guy and a girl. And they were just standing there just looking at him, just like everyone else, and then every once in a while they would just sort of like engage in some pleasant conversation with one another and then go back to just watching. And then, but except when it got to like the 3rd song, I could tell that the guy part of the couple really liked it because he started like very tapping his foot. Like, and I just wondered what he was thinking. Was he just like, this is my favorite song? I love this part. I'm exhilarated. So I did. I tried to just kind of hang in there with it, but it was, I just couldn't take too much of it. So after about 10 minutes, I left. And, I was polite, but I left. And, and don't get me wrong, when I was in high school, I went through the whole heavy metal phase. But the heavy metal that I liked, it was sort of the more poppy, glam, the guys with eyeliner and the big teased hair and everything, and like Motley Crue and Poison and Warrant. I never really was into like Metallica or Slayer or that kind of stuff. And this band was like, they were just so hardcore, they would make Slayer sound like the Jonas Brothers. It was like the kind of stuff that like Ricky Rackman would play on the 4th hour of Headbangers Ball, like long after all the headbangers, most of the headbangers had gone to sleep or passed out or whatever. So I couldn't really hang in there with it. And I like happy music. I like anything just kind of happy and perky, and I actually started doing Zumba about 6 months ago. I don't know if I have any Zumba fans in here. But I like it, and especially what I like is the Spanish music, because it's so happy. And so I was going to Zumba, and they were having it like twice a week at this church in this big gymnasium, and you know, like where you would play basketball. And so it was so fun, and I got totally hooked on it. And the only thing I thought that could make it better was if they added another class. And so finally they did. But the class that they added, it wasn't going to be at the church anymore, it was going to be at the YMCA. And so they had it up in the very top room, and I was so excited. And I go there, and then I didn't even think about it, but that room, it's just surrounded in mirrors. And if you've never seen yourself doing Zumba before, you might think you're kind of good, which I did, and I found out that day, no. And it's just that those mirrors, they just add a whole new element of honesty to the whole Zumba experience, and that was just something I had to deal with. And also, it didn't really help that I was in a rush that day, and I still had on my work clothes, and they were kind of stretchy, so I thought, double duty. I mean, I've already been sweating in them all day, why not sweat in them for another hour? So I just changed my shoes, and that just really didn't help to add to the mix. Yeah, so that was fun. But anyways, thank you guys very much, and have a great evening, and thank you for coming.